How you doing, guys? Today we're going to be working on how to transform a PT to a VT graph. So most importantly, we need to know what a PT stands for. PT, guys, stands for position versus time graph. And VT, guys, stands for velocity versus time. Now these are two graphs that are very important, guys. And the order is as follows. The PT, guys, is always followed by a VT, and the VT is always followed by an AT. So today we're only concentrated on this particular part. So later on, next week, we're gonna continue working with the rest of them. But it's very important, guys, that you guys are able to work with them. Now, a PT graph, guys, has a couple of things that are very important. Now, we're gonna go back to the stuff that we learned the day before. You have a graph, guys, the following graph, and I'm gonna draw a graph. Now, it's very important, guys, that you're able to identify every single thing that is happening with that graph. So we know that this one's a curve and that one's a curve. We know that this one is going from plus to minus and then is going from minus to plus. So we know that this one has a positive slope. This one is decreasing slope. Is also decreasing slope, and it's a changing slope, guys. Now every curve, guys, has a changing slope. Now on the other hand, we have here an increasing slope. We have a changing slope, and we also have a positive slope. Now with that in mind, guys, you should be able to do all of these things. We already did them in class. If you need more help, I'm gonna have tutoring on Wednesday. Now the next thing that you guys have to do and you need to be able to do is how can we go from a PT to a VT? So that's a position versus time. Now a PT, guys, has a slope. This slope, guys, represents the velocity. So every time you see a PT, this slope represents a velocity. So now, guys, instead of having slope, I'm going to replace it with what it is. Velocity, 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 and velocity. Perfect. Now, also yesterday, guys, I mentioned the order of curves. You know that the order of the lines is as follows. A curve is followed by a straight, and a straight is followed by a horizontal. This is very important, guys, because that's how the lines are always working with each other. Now, that is the order, guys. There's nothing, guys, after the horizontal, and you don't go after the horizontal, you don't go back into the curve. There's nothing before, and there's nothing after. So with that in mind, guys, first and foremost, I'm going to see if I can transform this particular graph into a VT graph. So I'm going to move it here to the bottom, and I'm going to do the graph again. So I'm going to do the PT, and I'm going to put the VT at the bottom, guys, because usually that's the way I like to do it. Now, I'm going to draw the PT. It was like this. There we go. Now, the time interval for each one of those graphs, guys, is going to be the same. So that being said, what happened on this particular curve, which is A, it only happens on this particular time interval, guys. What happens on B, it only happens on this particular time interval. So you guys need to remember those things. So for A, guys, don't try to draw the whole thing. It doesn't go into the whole thing. It's just for this particular interval. So with that in mind, let's begin to draw them. Now we said that this one was positive velocity, decreasing velocity, and changing velocity. Now positive velocity, guys, means that it has to be here on the top, not on the bottom. And this one is also positive velocity, changing velocity, and increasing velocity. So we know that both of them are going to happen on the bottom. So nothing is happening here. That's for negative velocities. So also, guys, one thing that I want you to remember is that when you have, and this is just a particular x and y axis that I need you guys to remember, is that when you have, guys, a function or a graph that is going away from the origin, this is the origin, this thing is called increasing. And when a line, guys, is going towards the origin, that's one called decreasing, guys. It's getting smaller. The same thing happens with the other one. As the line gets farther away, guys, from the origin, is increasing, and as it gets towards the origin, guys, is decreasing. So with that in mind, guys, we said that the first one is decreasing and is positive velocity. So that means that our graph has to be decreasing and positive velocity. So it has to go like that. So this one, guys, is decreasing and positive velocity because on the top. The other one is increasing and positive velocity. So that one goes up like this one. And that is our graph. So the one in purple, guys, this represents the velocity graph versus time. And that's pretty much what it is. Now you need to remember, guys, I need to follow the order of the curves. Because this one was a curve, the next one has to be a straight. This one's a curve, the next one has to be a straight. That's why the order of the lines is very important. Because a curve, guys, is always followed by a straight line. Straight line is always followed by a horizontal. So if I were to give you the following example. This is a PT as well. Position versus time. And if you have straight, curve, straight, so you first identify that you're dealing with a straight, curve, straight. So for a VT, guys, the next one will be horizontal, straight, and horizontal. Because CSH says that a straight is followed by a horizontal, a curve is followed by a straight. So that's why the CSH method is very important. Now, let's do this one really fast so you guys can finish. You guys have a positive velocity. You have a constant velocity. So we know it's a horizontal. So we have positive, constant. Let me change the color so I don't like the same one. So positive, constant. And now remember the time has to be the same. So then we're going to have here curve, which is positive velocity, changing velocity, and it's also increasing because it's going from minus to plus. So this one, guys, is going to go like this. The next one is constant velocity, positive velocity. Like that. Positive and constant. That's why it's still at the top. Now, guys, if you have any more questions and you need more help, remember the notes that we have in class, and I'm going to post more notes on Google Classroom. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a wonderful day.